Hey everybody, welcome back to the program. Now, this video is in response to the announcement of the upcoming Revolver box set release, and this was completely unexpected. I just want to start with that right off the bat. I did not expect this to come out because as late as last year, Giles Martin was asked about this. Do you think we'll see Rubber Soul and Revolver come out? And he said, I don't know, the technology isn't there yet. And this was, I think, as late as October 2021, he was saying this. And what's crazy is that how fast the technology has arrived. Because keep in mind, Giles Martin used a version of this tech, this sort of AI-driven demixing technology on the 8 Days a Week documentary. It's basically a reissue of the Beatles at Hollywood Bowl. And they were able to separate the crowd noise and bring it down and put it back. But part of the reason that early version of the demixing tech worked is because that audio recording wasn't that great to begin with. So it sort of hit a lot of the flaws of the technology. And Giles at that time said, basically that, and then also, this would not work for high quality studio recorded material. Revolver had issues where Taxman, for instance, the guitar, bass, and drums are all on one side, and I think they're like stuck there. They're locked together on the master tape that way. So going from Revolver backwards was always a challenge. Like, technology did not exist. And then, along comes the Get Back, and Peter Jackson had heard about this technology and said, oh, can we use it? And it turns out that version of the technology did not exist yet. And so his company, I think it's Wingnut Films or something, they essentially spearheaded this technology, developed this AI learning. Like, they basically fed, this is what John's voice sounds like, this is what Ringo, Paul, George, here's what the and they were able, for that documentary, to separate guitars and things and really hear the audio. And it's incredible. And he's not allowing that technology to be used by anyone else, except he allowed Giles Martin to use that technology for Revolver. We're almost a month away from the new box set being released, and it's just so exciting because, long story short, like I said at the top, I was not expecting this at all. I love Revolver, and it's such a great album, and it's fantastic. I mean, with the Taxman single that they released, to hear the difference between the old 2009 remaster was basically the original stereo mix, and it does not sound good. It does not do these songs justice. The new mix feels better balanced, like the drums are in the middle. It just, it sounds so good, and it's exciting to think about what's going to be coming down the pipeline. Okay, so let's talk about what's included in this box set. Obviously, you get the original album in this new stereo remix, but you also get a version of the mono mix on vinyl. As of now, I don't believe there's a lot of info on how they sourced it or how they pressed the mono edition. So it'll be really interesting to compare this new mono pressing to the 2014 mono mix I have here, because this was an all analog signal path. Did they go the same route or did they do something different? I'm really curious to know. So number one, I love the fact that they're including that, because Revolver in mono is a must hear. I'm excited for the stereo, but really you got to hear it in mono as well. And considering the prices for that mono box set as well as just individual albums, it's almost worth the price of that box set alone. I really want to check out the session material cover. That looks really interesting. I feel like I've seen that photo before, but the thumbnail's so tiny. And I also want to see what's in the gatefold and obviously on the back. And the EP, I think that's awesome. They're including some singles that were recorded around the same time, but were not on the album for obvious reasons. It's just how they did it back then. The book, 100-page book, that I'm so looking forward to that, especially reading what Questlove has to say. Now, what's included seems very similar to the Let It Be box set. This is the 5 LP edition. Obviously, it'll probably be a little thinner. But yeah, so you have the book, and then, the 2 albums plus the double album of session material. And then I'm sure somewhere in there, the 7-inch EP will fit in there. So it's probably be a little thicker than that. I don't believe they'll do any sort of cutout, which I'm a little disappointed by. I kind of wish at least for the cover of the box set, maybe they did something different or added some color or just sort of changed it up a little bit. But honestly, if I think back, the only time they really strayed from that, at least from my memory, was for the White Album. And then, obviously this cutout is really cool. But, for the Abbey Road, it was basically the same cover. Pretty much the same thing for Sgt. Pepper's. So yeah, that's not a big deal, but it would have been cool to sort of just, give us something different for the cover here. Maybe an outtake from the back cover session. Like that would have been cool, because there are some cool photos from that session, like one where Paul's actually looking at a proof of the Butcher cover photo, which is pretty cool. Now, getting to the track listings of the session material, I noticed some people, at least on Reddit, I've been checking out, some people are disappointed by it because, yeah, there is some repeats from the anthology series. You do get some crossover. I'm not as annoyed with that because here you find, you have it all in one place. The only thing I might be a little, not annoyed by, but sometimes, I guess, let me put it this way. This bonus material is amazing and it's awesome. I love it. It's just when it's curated to have like 3 of the same song right after the other, I'm less inclined to want to continuously listen to that album as an album. It feels more like an experience, an educational experience. You hear the differences and then you move on. Like, I don't often go back to it, unlike the Esher sessions or the stuff on Let It Be. These session materials, it feels like another album. Like, I love it when it's curated that way. I understand they didn't have as many session and demo material to pull from. And speaking of demos, I guess they don't exist, but it would have been cool to hear some more demos. I mean, I'm sure there's more out there. It's just they're either incomplete or for whatever reason, Apple doesn't want them out there. You know what I mean? Okay, so after all of that, do I think you should pre-order this? And that is a tough question to answer. But let me give you my thoughts on this. And obviously the first thing you're going to see is the price of it. It's $199. It's basically $200 US, and that does not include shipping and taxes, depending on where you buy it. So that's probably raise it up to $220. Now, some people are saying online that price could come down a little bit by the time it comes out. We'll see. But that might be what they're trying to get, because they're shooting for a late October release. So you're thinking people are buying Christmas presents early. You don't want to miss out on this. Yada yada yada, right? So I think price wise it's pretty comparable to last year's set, the Let It Be. Although you get a 7-inch EP as opposed to 12-inch EP. So it's not quite apples to apples, but just based on the photos alone, it looks like another on par release from Apple in terms of what you're going to get and the quality of everything, especially that book. So, and also keep in mind, everything's inflated right now, the cost of manufacturing, shipping, all that stuff, raw materials, everything's more expensive. And I think for the price point that it is, I think it's reasonable. Now, as of this taping, you can go on Amazon and you can buy this box set for like $120. So you save about $80. You can buy it right now. So it might be better to hold off, especially if you're not in a rush to pick up the vinyl release, or you might get it for Christmas, you don't know, or Hanukkah or whatever. You might get it as a gift. You might want to hold off on it and wait for the price to drop. I know sometimes you can get some screaming deals from You Discover Music, especially if you've been buying there a lot. You can use some points, save some money there. I think definitely if you've been buying these anniversary releases, I guess this isn't an anniversary release, is it? As you've been buying these anniversary remixes, we'll just call them remixes at this point. If you've been buying them and you've been very happy with them, I think it's a no-brainer. Go ahead, pre-order it. Hope that the price comes down a little bit by the time it gets released, but probably don't bank on it. But otherwise, I think they're going to make enough of these. I don't think you have to pre-order it. I think wait for the price to come down a little bit. Maybe wait for some deals to come on during like Cyber Monday or whatever. Just maybe hold out for it. And because as with all of these releases, they release them streaming, so you can check everything out streaming, and maybe the the session disc isn't that important to you, and you'll just want to pick up the new remaster by itself on vinyl, you know, or go for the CD version, because I think there are some Dolby Atmos mixes as well. I wasn't 100% sure on that. Although, you know, these songs are so simple, I'm not sure how much this album will really benefit. Although, you know, Tomorrow Never Knows might be really freaking cool in surround. So who knows? What do I know? I don't even have a setup to test it. That's why I'm only talking about vinyl, because that's pretty much how I listen to stuff these days. So yeah, that's the long and short of it. Let me know what you think. Are you gonna pre-order this? Do you think the price is too high? Is it just right? And what do you think about the track listings? Is there enough there to warrant buying the box set? Like, is there enough stuff in there that's going, ooh, I want to hear that demo by John? Let me know. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I'm your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side.